There we go. Quick little 3-day stint of the kind of improvised lift clips. Now back to normal. Back to freaking normal. So yeah, I mean, summer's pretty much officially started. So don't worry. I know I say this, so it kind of doesn't have a crazy amount of credibility, but I'm gonna make sure I get some cooking clips and some food and some groceries and maybe some extra little, give you guys some extra little activities, because you can only watch so many lifts, but that's the real meat and potatoes. These videos are more so documentation of the workouts over time. I'm no Mr. Beast, this isn't but let's actually get started about what we're talking about here. So 9:42, rather late, sleep schedule not bad, but this is later than I would have liked. I would have preferred a 6 o'clock lift, in all honesty. I've had about 170 grams of carbs, 30 grams of fat, and 150 grams of protein. So in the context of being dieted down and still, trying to get a bit leaner, that is about as much food as I would, want to eat for a solid workout. Quick note. Look, man, I feel pretty strongly about it too. If you work out, like if you wake up, get ready for your day, go to the gym and do a weights, like bodybuilding workout in the morning versus doing one later in the evening after eating like 4 or 5 meals or, whatever you're eating for the day. The workout that you're going to do in a fed state, I think it's going to be more productive for you. As far as I'm concerned, at least for me, the ideal day looks like wake up, morning cardio. If I'm dieting, it's always fasted. I don't eat until after cardio. Just kind of just because, I'm not in a rush to get my food in because I've only got so much to eat during the day. So if I can save breakfast for a little later, it makes it easier to, just eat less. Bulking, I might eat, not even I might, I definitely have some food before cardio. But in either case, wake up, cardio, whatever the day is, and then maybe 8 hours later-ish, probably, yeah, that would be the weight portion of the daily gym trips. Come home, eat some more, back to bed, repeat. Because, anything else, if you work out right in the morning, think about it. You just went, if you had a good night's rest, 8 hours without eating or drinking anything. Does that sound like what you'd want to do before trying to, really exert yourself? If you're doing your sets to failure, you're literally pushing yourself to your physical limits. Saying it like that makes it sound pretty cool. So would you want to go 8 hours, no water, no food, and then do that? Or would you want to be properly hydrated and rested? So, not to say that you can't just slam a liter of water right when you wake up, have like 3 bananas, some oatmeal, and some eggs, and then go to the gym 30 minutes later. That's better than nothing. That's better than fasted, of course, but I just don't see it. Now, I'm not going to say it's a massive difference, but I do think it's a substantial enough difference where you're not going to catch me doing a 6 a.m. chest day unless scheduling is an issue, So it's definitely nice if you've got that much time in the evening to spend, hour and a half working out. But if you got to bust out a morning workout before your real day starts, don't stress it. Just make sure you go as hard as you can and eat some food beforehand. So, plan for me now is legs. I was about to drive like 20-ish minutes to a gym that's a little further away that I like. But, this is just me being a schmuck. but I would have only had like an hour-ish for a full leg day. Which, not that I need to be in here for 2 hours to hit my legs, but an hour is kind of pushing it. Like, I could do it, but I wouldn't really like it. You know, I want to kind of take my time. I want to go at my own pace. It kind of sucks to have to do a workout and like really be watching the clock the whole time. So another benefit of having a few different gym memberships, you're a little more open to variability in terms of the time that you work out. There's some badass gyms that I go to that close at 6 on the weekends, and then maybe scrappier to some people, but some of these gyms are fucking open 24 hours. So for me, that's worth the extra, I mean, in this case, the extra $20 a month. But the lift itself won't change too much. Hamstrings, same as normal. Hamstring curls, probably a touch of RDLs, seated laying, and then quads, leg extensions, potentially some single leg press. I haven't done that for a while. I might want to add it back in. Some sissy squats guaranteed, maybe some heavy pressing squats. I was doing a set of Smith machine squats a couple leg days ago at kind of that one really hardcore gym, and I kind of felt like not a legit hernia, if you know what that is. Like, that's where, I mean, literally your fucking one of your internal organs or whatever kind of pokes out through your abs because you had too much internal pressure. But I felt a little something funky on my right side, so I kind of don't want to do anything with too much like insane bracing. If you've got anything where it feels a little funky and not in like a, oh, that feels a little weird, whatever, like in a way where you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't worsen this, then you're never going to hurt erring on the side of caution a touch more. So I might back off on the crazy heavy pressing and bias some stuff that doesn't make me, you know, put 5 atmospheres of pressure on my abs. But either way, I know for a fact that my quads are going to be pumped up to all hell. But this is one thing that I wanted to say before I started. I kind of sidetracked myself by talking about that whole workout timing situation about morning and nighttime. But, you know, think about this. If you've got a trip, if you're going to take a 1 week long trip, be it with your family or with whatever, you know, you want to go somewhere and you want to ensure that you make it worthwhile and you have fun while you're there. Do you just, you know, get a plane ticket or drive like 8 hours, roll up to somewhere and then just mindlessly go about it? No, you're not going to enjoy it, you know? So if you want to actually enjoy kind of a closed off certain amount of time where you've only got so much access to certain things, then you're going to plan it pretty meticulously, right? You're going to know what you want to do every day. Like, okay, we should do this first for an hour and then move on to this and then some of this. Like, there's kind of an urgency that you want to get some stuff done because you know you're going to enjoy it, where if somebody in the group like just wants to stay at home and sit around and watch TV the whole time, you would think, oh geez, what's wrong with them? Why don't they want to come out and, you know, do this stuff and enjoy it? That doesn't change when you're at home. That doesn't change when you're doing your normal day-to-day type shit, right? I'm insanely spoiled now, because when I started working out after not too long, that was kind of my main priority. I don't want to say like I'd have a bad day if I had a bad gym session, but for the most part, I mean, if you could kind of run through the things that I think about the most and the things I kind of put a lot of value on, then the gym is number one for the past like 5 fucking years. So now I can really make it, well, not only is it the top thing of my day, I can really make it the number one priority of my day. But look, you've only got so much time. You've only got so much time in the day, and you've only got so much time, I don't want to get so abstract as only so much time in life, but let's trim it down. Let's shrink that kind of approach down to just this summer, this 3-month period. What are you going to do? I mean, think about this. If you heard a story about some guy you know random dude, nothing special about him, whatever. And, you know, when they come back to school or whatever, once fall kind of comes around, and you hear, like, dude, did you hear about so-and-so? He started working out fucking every day. Look at him, I don't even recognize him. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad story? No, man, that's fucking cool. You know? So that's kind of up to you, man. You know who said it best? Not that, no, I don't know if he came up with this, of course, but, you know, as per the words of Joe Rogan, if your life's a movie and you're the main character, what would that main character do right now? Is he gonna, you know, get home from his shift at Best Buy, and then, you know, he's got like 7 hours before he goes to bed at midnight? Is he just gonna sit around, eat chips, and play League of Legends? Somebody kind of I was talking to somebody who brought that up, how I kind of rip on people for playing League of Legends. That's just an insert, whatever. I don't have insane beef with League of Legends specifically. But yeah, what is the main character gonna fucking do, man? Is he just gonna sit around and just fucking chill? Or is he gonna at least get something done? You know, is he gonna get something cool done? And I really hate that. I hate that it seems like such a chore when really it's like barely any time at all. You know, if somebody told you they worked out every day, I mean, the fact that so many people aren't even able to do it just kind of goes to show that it is kind of it's an endeavor. You know, that's something that takes some active fucking effort and consistency and discipline and, you know, insert motivation, whatever. But if you really break it down, I mean, how many hours do you have in your day which you can use to do whatever you want? Pretty much, right? Let's cut out like an 8-hour school day or an 8-hour work day. So let's say you got 8 hours. 8 free hours of the day. And you can't make 1.5 of them, you know, you can't dedicate 1.5 of them to something that you, for one thing, are literally going to enjoy, get to work on for a long time, be able to see results over time. You know, it's not that much, man. I can fucking destroy 1.5 hours just sitting on my phone before I even get out of bed on Saturday morning. It'll just disappear like that. So, you know, it's not my time, but, you know, it's gonna move a lot faster than you think. And, you know, I'm not saying that from the perspective of like an old man who's now looking back at his life like, son, time moves by pretty quick. No, but for real, you're gonna blink. I swear, you are going to blink and summer's gonna be over. And that's just another summer crossed off the list. Crossed off the list. See, you know what's on my fucking mind right now. That's one more summer, one more year, one more few years crossed off. I'm fucking losing my mind right now. I can't, getting a little tongue-tied here. Crossed off the list of your life, which you just kind of fucked off on, you know? So I'm almost saying this for the guy listening to think about in a few years, you know? So you gotta remember, it's never too late to start. Absolutely never. Because you can't unwind the clock, you know? There's two, now I'm just stealing quotes here, but the best time to plant a tree, right? Well, the best time would have been 50 years ago, right? Because then it'd be fucking fully grown by now. It'd be sweet. But the second best time, it's right now. And there's no barrier to entry. You can go in the App Store, look up, you know, X Gym app. I don't want to plug anybody specifically. Get a membership. You don't even have to go in to sign anything. You just get a little like key fob or like a QR code. You roll up. Just jump on the cardio bike. Get a feel for the space. You know, nothing's stopping you. That's all I'm really trying to say there. But enough of that, right? I hope you get the idea. But let's get started. I don't know. I've got I've got a bad track record of guessing how busy these gyms are going to be. Because 10 o'clock, I would think that this place is going to be dead. But could be jumping too. So I guess that's just a mystery that we'll have to find the answer to together. But let's get ready to pump these legs up like never before. I've warmed up. My hamstring's still strong. I have no reason, at least not from my perspective, not to do a good heavy set to failure. Maybe 2 or 3. And then, after I've done a few heavy ones, and this kind of goes for any muscle, the weight won't matter as much. Like when I hear legit old school, real dyed-in-the-wool bodybuilders talk about how the weight doesn't matter, I kind of agree, but I also kind of don't. I know that a heavy set with the stack is going to be a different stimulus than a hard set with half the stack. Now, they're both hard sets, but I think you're never going to go wrong. Definitely not in a strength progression tandem with size progression approach with heavy sets in the beginning, your heavy pressing, your heavy bench, your heavy rows, and then finishing with more lighter squeezing kind of pull downs or pullovers or cable flies and, machine press, stuff like that. I think an even mix is about right, but it's also kind of in a specific order. Like I'm more likely, and this is just for me, but I'm much more likely to do my heavier stuff in the beginning, get some serious damage, good stimulus, tons of tension, and finish with more burnout kind of nasty stuff. Or not even nasty, I'm talking burnout, good form, slow controlled, squeezing stuff, just to, finish off the pump with the lift. I think if I had to condense down my approach to what all these workouts are like, regardless of muscle group, they usually follow that approach. No, it's not the only way to do it. Sometimes I do a really light set to start. But for the most part, that's kind of what I've leaned into so far. But let's get amped up and get started. Let's take a second. Do a little rest pause action. Okay. Solid start. Okay. Not a bad set, but I think let's move on to seated curls. I just don't love the feel of this right now. And it's not the machine's fault. Sometimes stuff just doesn't click as well as, some days or others. But let's keep going. Yeah, after a feeler rep, the seated machine is doing the trick. So same style, heavy, but I'm gonna be a bit more controlled. I'm gonna hold it at the bottom for a second when I'm strong. And then once I'm kind of to the point where I can't really hold it at the bottom, then I'm gonna switch gears. And rather than kind of focus on manually getting that contraction, it's kind of gonna be more so focused on just burning out as hard as possible. Which, not a bad kind of duality for a set, in my opinion. This isn't kind of something, this is not the approach I would take with like machine bench or with, like a barbell squat. I'm not going to do controlled reps. And then once I feel tired, suddenly drop the weight like a cannonball. But with some movements where it's a little bit more controlled of a setup, like a curl or a lateral raise or a push down, I think there's benefit to doing a solid controlled set and then burning out with maybe, what you might consider nastier reps which you're just trying to really get every drop of water out of the towel as you can. That's my thoughts on the matter, at least. Okay. Let's camp out here for a while. Okay. Let's go do some machine RDLs to change it up a little. Probably come back to this, or maybe a little something else I'm thinking of now. But RDL's next. And I'm talking light, much more of a squeezing kind of set. So one more tidbit. Whenever I do RDLs, failure is a little more vague. You know, because when I do a set of curls, obviously once my biceps give out, there's no more curling. I'm not gonna be able to do it. It's not happening. Same thing with chest, same thing with back, right? But with hamstrings, just the nature of an RDL, your glutes can do a lot of work, your lower back can do a lot of work. So it's kind of up to you, the lifter doing the set, to know when you've really slammed your hamstrings. Because if I kept doing as many reps as possible, I'm just gonna burn out my glutes, I'm gonna burn out my lower back. This isn't posterior chain day, this is legs. And I wanted to hit just hamstrings first. So I'll get to a point where my hamstrings are fatigued enough where I'm like, that was a good set. And then that'll be it. Okay. Oh. One more. RDLs feel good today. I don't know if you can really, it's kind of tricky to explain, but yeah, I need to get more RDLs in for sure. Because there's a different stimulus. Like not only is it a different action, I'm not sitting here bending my leg. I'm kind of like almost internally rotating my hips, and then that's the driver of my hamstring activation. But I feel like when I do straight up hamstring curls, like if my bicep is my hamstring, I feel a lot kind of down here, like close to where it connects to the bottom of my knee. Whereas with the RDLs, I feel much more kind of, almost much more connection to where my hamstrings kind of tie into my glutes. Yeah, I think I've been a total fool. I need at least 2 or 3 sets of hip hinging per lift. I'm sure, I'm not totally sure, but I'd imagine that's going to help me get some more hamstring development. You know, I'm not saying it's better, but it is different. And if your routine feels a little stale, I think being more concerned with making solid differences rather than trying to make like the perfect improvement, you know, because it's like you kind of have to find it out for yourself. But no more talking. Let's hit this shit. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. One more set of curls and then quads. I was actually getting ready to finish with just a straight up, light, really squeezing set, which would be good. I mean, if I sat here with half the stack and did kind of some portion, like tempo reps, or I go down halfway, pause it, finish, pause it, finish. If I did a set like that, it'd be a good finisher. But I kind of want to do something a little bit more, well, I say more intense. I really kind of just mean heavier. But still, now my plan is full stack, which is a weight I can handle, but I'm not going to be able to do 20 reps. I mean, I'm probably going to get to like 6 and barely be able to really do good ones then. So I'm kind of going to pyramid down. For the most part, I would say straight sets are your bread and butter. Picking one weight, doing that weight for like 8 to 15 or even 8 to 20 reps and hitting failure within that range, that's always going to be a good set. But it's going to be nice to add some kind of extra fancy fun ones in there too. And not just for the sake of the fact that it's going to make your training more interesting, but like I was saying before, different in a working out context within reason is going to be better. You want a nice, varied, intense stimulus. But I'm going to do the stack for as many as I can, drop the weight by like 50 pounds, same thing, drop it by another 50, same thing, and just kind of do that for as many times as I feel like it's necessary. Come on. One more. Okay. Okay. Let's move forward one machine, get leg extensions started. So I think that this is something that, I mean, I probably said it before, but I want to really emphasize it. Before a set, and this is a real question. I want you to think about it. What are you really thinking about? I'm not talking minutes before. I mean like 30 seconds before you're about to throw some weight around. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about absolutely nothing? I'd say it's kind of a red flag. You should at least be kind of getting yourself hyped up a touch. But, I mean, some guys are going to sit here and be like, okay, I want to make sure I do a perfect 1 second hold, a 2 second eccentric, or a 1 second rep, 2 second hold, 3 second eccentric. Or they're thinking, okay, I want to make sure I don't want to do two. Look, I think no, it depends on the set. Something like squats, you're going to want to think about bracing and your tempo. Those are that can be a precarious fucking set if you're too willy-nilly with how you go about it. But with sets where, especially on a machine, nothing's going to go too haywire, you're not going to fall off if you do a weird rep, then I think your main concern with just should be, it should definitely be at least a large percentage. Okay, I want to go as crazy as fucking humanly possible for my current state right now. Because if you don't, man, look, the difference from not working out at all and then working out reasonably consistently and just coming to the gym, doing some fluff sets, doing 10 sets of curls with like 10 reps in reserve, like, kind of breaking a sweat, whatever. Like the difference between no working out and working out like, kind of mediocrely, that's a big difference. That is a massive difference. Do not let me underestimate that. But the difference between working out with a mediocre approach versus working out like a fucking beast, honestly, I think it's the same fucking difference, if not more. So, look, there's no chance that you're going to go wrong pushing yourself harder than you ever have before. Now, I'm not saying that I do that. Every set that I do isn't the hardest one that I've ever done. But if I could push myself that hard, I would. Now, that kind of sounds like I'm trying to go easy. I'm not. I'm just saying some days I'm a little more in the zone than others. But even when I'm not, I still want to try to make each set as good and rough as I can. And I mean rough in a good way, not in like a nasty reps, ego lifting kind of way. But that's enough talk. Come on. A little heavier. Okay. Okay. Not bad. Let's repeat. Let's change it up. Let's do a moderate double leg set. That was definitely about as heavy as I want to go. Any more and I'm probably asking for trouble. I'm gonna try my absolute damnedest to squeeze as hard as physically fucking possible at the top of every one of these reps. I don't mind that it's just gonna be a momentary squeeze. This is not gonna be a slow set, but at the peak, I want it to feel like my leg is gonna fucking invert like The Exorcist from how much tension I've got through all my tendons here, pulling my shit up. And then come back down, repeat until failure. That should be obvious. Okay. Oh. Oh. Whew. Okay. I'm going to repeat the next few just like that. Oh. Now, contrary to maybe how it might look in comparison to what some guys might recommend set-wise. My quads feel fucking disgusting after that one. A few more. Just like that. Okay. Holy shit. Oh, that's a really good fucking set. I think I lied. No sissy squats, no nothing. The way that this feels, I know nothing else is gonna feel better. Let's just keep doing these, same style, same everything, until I feel like my quads have had enough. Oh. All right. Toxic Corruption 3727 comments. If it wasn't for you, I would have never fully committed myself to weightlifting. That is a badass fucking comment. That's hyping me up for this set. Come on. Okay. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. I predict 2 more. But if my legs are completely wrecked after the next one, then I'll just call it there. Okay. 1 more. I'm already fucking pumped as shit quad-wise. Oh, dude, I love leg extensions. Oh my god. Last one. And it's gonna be accompanied by sissy squats to finish the fucking burnout. Let me just pick a more hype fucking song. Fuck. I switched cards, and now I don't have Spotify Premium. Or no, I don't have I got like SoundCloud Plus. I just got hit with an ad. Not cool. There we go. Come on. Oh my god. Okay. Even without seeing him, purely off of feeling, And I'm not even touching them, just knowing how they feel right now. Dude, best quad pump of the fucking cut. Let's go see how it looks. There we go. All right, nasty amount of sweat. It is way too late. I totally should have lifted earlier. I was just being, well, not a total schmuck. I was kind of busy. But either way, legs pumped. Holy shit, veiny as well. I mean, pumped, veiny, fatigued. What other descriptors are there of a good lift? But I'll make this quick because I gotta get some rest ASAP. The last thing I want to do is wreck my sleep schedule as soon as I got it reasonably decent. You know, even, I mean, if you're sleeping during the day nocturnal, I guess you're fine. But that's just not conducive to normal day-to-day life. But you tell me, man. I mean, that's a fucking pump for sure. I've kind of lost a little bit of the striations kind of on this side. Unpumped, there's a ton of fancy pants lines in here. But this is way more swollen than I need to be happy with. It just makes me extra excited to see how big they're going to be when I'm floating around 280. Not that there's a number. There's not a specific number I'm aiming for. But if next bulk I can step on the scale in the morning, empty stomach, and have it say 280, then I'll start to feel pretty freakish. As weird as it sounds, because, you know, the way that you feel, it's very relative. If somebody bulks up from 130 to 180, they're going to feel fucking huge. So, as spoiled as it sounds to say, I feel kind of light at 240. But that just gets me even more excited to get heavier. Let's get out of here. There we go. Legs are fucking complete, man. And not that I mean, I'm going to do whatever I can to grow. Of course, I don't really feel like I have to explain myself about that. But, and I mean, yeah, I feel like I kind of do as well. With those leg extensions, that's just how I like to do them, man. But don't take that at surface value. I don't like leg extensions in that kind of nasty, quick rep sort of style, purely for just the, like, some arbitrary, like, well, that's just how I like it. Like, they're actually, I mean, you know, even though sometimes I do kind of explain myself like that, like, oh, I just like heavy sets because that's how I like them. Man, that's not based on nothing, you know, that's based on my fucking training history, training experience, and just, you know, the kind of training and the lifts which I not only get the most pumped from, but have historically gotten the most gains from, you know? I mean, I'm gonna go hard no matter what. So if I'm working out with somebody and, you know, I want them to take the lead, let's say it's a goddamn, you know, let's say it's whoever. I'm talking bodybuilder, more advanced than me, they know what they're doing, been doing it for longer than me. I want to listen. You know, I want to see what they've got to say. I want to know if they've got some secrets. I'm going to follow their lead, see what they want to do. And if they wanted to do leg extensions, real light, real just squeezing like, it'll be a good set. And today was a little funkier because, I mean, I made leg extensions the primary movement. Now, you know, no crazy heavy pressing like I would maybe typically do. Plus, this is a dieting context as well. But doing those leg extensions how I did them, for me specifically, that was the best case scenario. My quads are wrecked, fully pumped. I'm talking more pumped than they've been, I mean, even the last 3 leg days. I mean, I'm still feeling them now. And I'm not going to say that having a pump means that your workout was perfect. But a good workout is going to result in a solid pump. So, you know, even though the two may not go hand in hand one-to-one, there is a certain feeling that I get, I mean, just inside of whatever muscle I'm hitting, this, like, just the, not even just a burn, but just the rate of, like, fullness and blood flow and, like, how quick I'm swelling up after, like, 3-4 sets, where I know that every step that I'm taking and every set that I do and each movement that I end up picking is bringing me closer and closer to, I don't want to say the perfect workout, but having as good of a workout as I can hope for and making it as good as I can day after day after day. Now, some days, I got a fucking off day. It's not the rarest occurrence in the world, but this pause is unnaturally long. I was kind of buffering for a moment. But the more often that the sets that I do are, I wasn't kidding when I was talking about what you should really be thinking about before your sets. The more excited you can get, the more amped up you can get, and the more you can just fucking train like a beast. You don't think that that's going to give you better results than training like a wuss? Like, I'll have days where I'm a little more chill. If I'm, well, no, I don't want to get into that at this exact moment. But yeah, I'll have some lifts that are a little more chill. They're not totally for the purpose of complete decimation. Like, I might come in and do an arm day where if my elbows and, let's say, my forearms or something feel a little tender, then yeah, shit, I might chill. I might do some more lighter squeezing sets, focus more so on really getting a crazy solid contraction. I mean, you've seen them. I've done light workouts before where, on chest I did like, the 110-pound dumbbells for, complete slow sets. Same thing with cable flies, nice, slow squeeze. But, if you're in a state where you're fully capable of training as hard as you can, heavy weights, hard reps, exerting a lot of fucking force, then that's what you should be leveraging, man. That's what you should be doing more often than not. Because the guy who's training harder, he's gonna end up doing better. And that one key component will honestly supersede a lot. It's gonna supersede however well planned your training is if you're not actually manually pushing it every fucking time that you have the chance. Now, so I've seen some videos where it's like, I don't want to just like name drop anybody specific, but I do sort of say this in a little bit of a straw man kind of way, where I say like, the guy who trains really hard but is just doing a basic workout is going to do better than the guy who's doing like a science-based workout but train like a wuss. Look, what are we all working out for, honestly? If this is a bodybuilding context, if you're just a generalized lifter, 99 times out of 10, out of 100, whatever, you're training because you want to build muscle, Even the guys who say, well, I don't want to get too big, I just want to be a little bit more toned, I just want to get a little bit more of an athletic look. Guess what? That's just going to come from building muscle, right? There's no if, and, or but about it. So we're all training to gain some contractile tissue, put some beef on our frame, fucking toughen up. So regardless of what approach you want to take to do that, and I'm talking, guys who are into CrossFit, guys who are into full body training, oh crap, what's the word for these, dual, oh my god, I can't remember the fucking phrase. Even hybrid athletes, dudes, where they want to be able to bench 315 but also run 5 miles without too much issue, or straight up fucking power lifters, real bodybuilders where that's their whole goal. No matter what kind of training you're doing, the intensity that you're bringing to the table is gonna, it's really gonna dictate whether or not that training is gonna work. And the reason that I say that is because guys who train in absolutely fucking completely different ways all still get results, even though their training methods are like completely backwards from one another. So in a way, I'm kind of trying to say pretty much anything is gonna work. Now, for every specific person, there is something that's gonna work better, some routine, some set style, some amount of volume. Some guys can handle working out more frequently in the week than others. That's something that you're gonna have to find out for yourself over time. But in a generalized sense, no matter what kind of workout you're doing, the harder that you're pushing yourself in that workout, the better that you'll do. So don't be so concerned with, okay, I want to leverage my vastus lateralis, so I'm going to do wide stance leg press for 4 sets of 10 with 3 plates. Reps in reserve 5. Maybe I'll do a meso rep drop set. Now, I'm saying that in a condescending way, but as good and valid and, I mean, maybe even fucking baller that those sets may be, make sure that you're putting more emphasis on the intensity that you're doing that set than necessarily you are the exact specific method that you're doing. You know, of course, yeah, fucking, when you're doing your dumbbell curls and you're trying to really squeeze and you want to feel the peak of your bicep, yeah, don't just, you know, stop at a hammer curl. Try to really twist it so you almost feel like you're pulling with your pinky. You know, when you're doing lat pull downs, try not to pull with your hands. Straps are going to help. Try to pull with your elbows and feel yourself retracting your shoulder blades. If you're doing, you know, pec flies, same thing. Try not to push with your hands. You want to feel like you're almost pulling the weight up with your chest. You know, like little tips like these in terms of actual exercise execution, which are going to help you, you know, target whatever muscle you're aiming for more specifically. I think these should be what you're really trying to, or what people should really be kind of preaching about. You know, I'm not sure how many, but when you're doing chest press, can you really tell that you're manually flexing your pecs to move the weight? Or does it feel like you're just kind of pushing it with your hands? Because a set where you can't necessarily like directly flex your pecs to activate, you know, the process of lifting the weight, versus, you know, the guy who's got a solid mind muscle connection and can really, like, I mean, it doesn't even feel like a press. It feels like he's pulling the weight because he's pulling his arm towards the middle of his chest. Like, little tips like that I find to be far more important to be, you know, brought up and talked about, because once you get a solid feeling and understanding of your own body and how whatever muscle that you're aiming for works, you don't even necessarily need anyone to tell you how to hit a specific muscle in a specific way, because you know where you're gonna feel a certain part or a certain way from doing specific kind of sets. Like, I know that the stretch position that I'm gonna feel from an incline dumbbell, you know, or when I do incline dumbbell bench, I'm gonna feel a lot of stretch at the bottom, solid squeeze on the top, but most of the workload of the reps is kind of targeted towards down here, where I've got the most tension on my chest. Whereas if I want to kind of make the rep a little bit harder and squeeze much harder at the fully contracted part of the rep, then maybe I'll do some cable flies or some cable press. And in the process, I'll know which order and, you know, which kind of stuff I want to do on whatever specific day in any specific lift. Because once I've got a solid understanding of, I mean, basically what it takes to pump up my fucking chest, then I don't need a specific routine planned. I know that if I walk into the gym, I want to do some heavy incline dumbbell, move on to some incline hammer strength, 1 set of cable press, 2 sets of cable flies, yeah, my chest is destroyed. Now that may not be true every day, but that's what I've kind of gone in and done before. Chest was, you know, pumped to shit. I felt strong. Or, well, I mean, that's more to do with your preparation, how well you slept and how well you're hydrated and fed. But, you know, when I think of the lifter who is really on track to making some serious gains, he's not looking outward for answers. You know, he's not searching for someone to tell him what's the best way to work out. What's the best way to hit my chest? What's the best way to do leg extensions and work my quads? And what's the best way to... Now, there is insane, and I mean absolutely insane, benefit and potential, you know, information to be learned for the beginner. Like the fact that you no longer... I mean, anybody in my 40-year-old and above demographic, they know this. The fact that now with fucking YouTube videos and Instagram and everything, that you don't have to go to a gym. And I mean, back in the fucking 90s and the 80s, of course I wasn't there for it, but gym culture, it was not so chill as it is today. If you were in the gym, it was because you were a fucking beast and you were kind of a nut. Because back then, I almost feel like lifting was a little more pure. Well, actually, I don't feel like it. I know it was. Because the guys working out back then, they weren't doing it to get any kind of social media clout or approval. They were only doing it because they liked it. And they wanted to get their own results for themselves. So that's kind of something we lose. That's the price of it. But the benefit of literally having access to pretty much anything you could ever want to fucking know about any sort of exercise and, fucking rep scheme and whatever at your fucking fingertips at all times. The only thing stopping you from learning this shit is the fact that it's going to take a little bit of time to actually get through the information. But at the same time that's, a huge fucking blessing, you also have to sift through the BS. Because if you're big, if you're strong, you can say whatever the fuck you want and explain it. Like, if you're big, if you're strong, and you have a clear speaking voice, that's the perfect concoction for spewing nonsense on social media. So, the way that I built my chest was by doing a series of 30 rep interval sets of diamond push-ups, shoulder width grip push-ups, and wide grip push-ups. Now, I have this routine in my book for $30.99 on my website. Does that sound like that's how Arnold built his chest? Probably not. So you kind of, you've got to have the responsibility and the, let's just say the self-awareness in a sense, to not get duped by the BS that's getting spewed too. So that's where it's on you. And I'm not saying this as though I'm like a fucking monk and I know everything, right? Take everything I say with a grain of salt too. If I say something where it's a little bit fucking off, and you're like, Sam, I don't know about that. That does not sound right to me at all. Just because I'm big and whatever, that doesn't give me absolute credibility. Now, I know that most of the stuff that I end up saying, at least related to my own training, I do believe. But the last thing that you want to do, and this will be my last little part of this rant before I move on to something else, the absolute last thing that you want to do is close off your mind to new ideas in terms of your training. Because all you're asking for is to become plateaued and to completely halt your progression. Because if you do the exact same routine with the exact same, approach and intensity and just fucking, guess what, man? You're just not going to keep progressing. I'm not saying you need to shock the muscle, but your body is going to get used to the same stimulus. That's the whole point of working out. Your session in the gym, that's not where you're building muscle per se. That's where you're giving your body a stressor that is so strong that your internal processes have to deal with it by packing on more fucking muscle on your body. And don't forget, your body does not want to just grow muscle. Not just the human body, but anybody's fucking body. Once you've grown and you're not a kid anymore, you're kind of a grown-up, you're as tall as you're going to get, your growth plates are now shut. You don't really want to grow, you don't want to shrink. Your body likes homeostasis. It likes eating the same amount of food every day, burning the same amount of energy every day. That's what it likes. Consistency. So, that's why your dog stays the same weight. If you feed him, the right amount of food, he's not going to gain weight and get fat, and he's not going to get fucking scrawny either. He's eating the same amount of food every day. He's doing the same amount of energy shit every day. And then he sleeps the same amount every day. It's just a constant loop. So if you want to fight that process, then you got to put yourself in a position where you're able. And that means, eating enough food that you've got the energy to facilitate muscle growth, as well as triggering your body's fucking hypertrophy signals well enough in the gym to be able to use that extra energy to grow. So that's where I know that in the grand scheme of, let's just say, perfection and, nothingness, the amount of intensity that you're working out with, intensity kind of like coupled with consistency, one insanely intense lift once per month is not going to do jack shit for you. So the consistency part is in there as well. But your intensity is going to be pretty strongly correlated with the stimulus that the workout is going to induce. So if you don't go fucking hard at all, you just scrap around, you're not going to stimulate jack. If somebody came into the gym, did 3 sets of dumbbell curls, did not even exert themselves a little bit, and then expect to grow, a set of biceps, for one thing, you should call your local police department and get them locked up in a mental hospital, because they're clearly insane. But that's kind of besides the point. The guy who is going to train like a complete beast, push his sets as hard as he fucking can, and not lie about it. I've definitely seen videos and seen people lifting where they're kind of, I can tell, I see the rep speed, I see that you hit failure a little bit too quick. That was fucking bullshit. That was a fake failure. If you really push it, and you know it, and you do that for more of your sets than you don't, you're asking, well, let's just say you're not asking for trouble, right? You're asking for fucking gains. So that's my shtick there, The more you put in, the more you get out. No truer statement has ever been fucking said. So we're nearing the end. We are, well, okay, don't get too excited yet. I'm still gonna keep dieting down for like 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, honestly. I'm not I'm in a rush. I want to start bulking up again, but I want to be in a good position to start from. And I'm not saying you have to get completely diced to start bulking, but it's not going to hurt, because now I've got a little bit of extra room to play with, where I'm not going to mind putting on an extra 10 pounds of body fat if I started off pretty lean. I'll get a bit softer, but I'll still, not that that's the point of the bulk, but I'll still look kind of cool. I don't have too much trouble staying lean when I'm bulking up. Honestly, my real problem is eating enough food to keep growing to the point where I actually start putting on more body fat. So no need to talk about the bulking process right now. I'll get into that soon enough. But plan for dinner, pound of ground beef, I ate all the low-carb hot dog buns at the house. I'll couple it with something else. But either way, 100-gram protein meal. I might have to have some yogurt as well to add that all the way up. Not going to go over my calorie limit, of course. I'll get into that later. I already said that in the last video. Cardio in the morning, which dieting, I know you guys get the point of. But even on a bulk, man, even if you're doing a summer bulk 2024, you gotta do your cardio too. I think so, at least. That's another thing where, who knows, maybe you don't need to do your cardio, right? There's some big names where when they're growing in the off season, I've heard them say don't do cardio because you want to save all your energy for the recovery process from the workout. And I mean, it could be a valid point. If that's coming from a guy who's a total freak nutcase, then he may have a point. But that point may be just for him specifically, So that's where it's a little bit more important not to, or to take advice from anybody who's clearly like a 1% outlier. You got to take that sort of advice with a bit of a grain of salt, because clearly other factors are at play. And that goes for me as well, but that's no mystery. But I think, not even I think, I say this pretty fucking strongly. Everybody's going to benefit from 30 minutes of moderate intensity cardio in the morning. And I really hope I'm not over-exaggerating like how intense it is. All I do is sit down and pedal. I'm like, my legs are not burning. I'm not huffing and puffing like I can barely fucking breathe and I feel like I'm going to die. I'm just pedaling. Like the first 5 minutes of it, I don't even feel like I'm doing anything. Like it's so, the bike does not have so much force on it that I feel like I'm fucking sludging through mud while I'm pedaling. It's reasonably easy. It's a little bit of, like, I can feel that I'm doing work. I'm building up a sweat, of course, but it's not that hard. And if you play on your phone, or for me, which is kind of nice, I get to edit these videos while I do my 30 minutes of cardio in the morning, so I get to kind of, multitask there. But if you're at least moderately interested in whatever you're doing on your phone, that will completely distract you from your 30 minutes of cardio. Plus, if you're a busier dude, if you got a lot of shit to do, your 30 minutes of cardio can be 30 minutes of fucking phone time, man. You want to watch a show, but you're kind of busy, you don't want to waste your time. Fuck, man. That's 2 episodes of One Piece right there. Which may not be so important, because I think they're going to reanimate it and really condense the storyline, which I think could be cool. But, it's never going to hurt. It's never going to hurt. I can say this 100% certainty, my fucking life on the line, it will absolutely never hurt anybody to add 30 minutes of cardio into their daily routine. More likely than not, it is going to help in ways that you might not expect. You might even win the lottery if you start doing your cardio. Emphasis on might, but it could happen. You never know. So, cardio in the morning. Chest day tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm extra excited. Not sure where I'll go, but it doesn't really matter. Weight is weight, no matter where you are. As long as you've got access to enough that you can do some hard, heavy sets, fuck, man, you're good. So, I guess I'll see you then. I'm really fucking sleepy. I'll see you tomorrow.